going on, man? I see you down there.
Gerardo's always on the go.
Hey, Coach Lucky, man, I just want to update you on I followed through with what you told me to do, waking up every day before going to sleep saying I am better. I want to wake up better. I've been telling myself every day, and then I convince myself I'm better than I was yesterday, and yesterday will be better than today.
Yeah.
So, the outcome of it has been that, I've been appreciating more of the things that I forgot I accomplished. And it's given me more of that motivation to move forward and to know that I can do things and be better than I was the previous day.
Man, good for you. And you said a really key thing. You said you got more motivation. And what's important about that is, where did that come from?
That was manifested, man, by my words, by how I felt.
Yes, by you. So that you don't need to wait for a Sunday service. You don't need to wait for a pastor to pray for you. You don't need to wait for someone else to give you what you can give yourself, right? It doesn't mean that we're not an island unto ourselves, right? So it doesn't mean we don't need other people, but we don't realize that we need other people so much because we don't use ourselves. We don't actually think we are capable of any of the things we desire other people to do for us. We don't believe we're capable of that ourselves. We don't have any self-efficacy, most of us, the ability to believe that we have a say in our world. So that's why I want to stop you on that part that you said, because if you will magnify that, if you will realize, like, I actually have the ability to motivate, meaning inspire myself, then you focus on that, that will grow. It will increase, right? And then you'll be telling yourself all kinds of things that you're able to do, and you'll start to see yourself doing that, and you'll realize, like, well, I didn't actually go to anybody. I didn't actually pay anybody. I didn't actually wait for anybody. I have this within me, right? That I can strike up anytime I want, right? I can turn this pilot on, this fireplace on myself. So good for you, man. Keep focusing on it, keep doing it, and it will grow. It will grow not only in intensity, it will grow in the breadth and the width of it. You'll start applying it to more things. You'll start applying it more often, right? It'll be more of your go-to all the time. And everything we do is just habit. It's just habit, right? The good ones, the bad ones, the common denominator is habit. So keep doing what you're doing, man. You are taking control of your life. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You know what? It was for the hour, and I wanted to tell you guys, I know why I was drawn to this. I was like, I was watching your whole, I really watched a longer one, and I was like, everything you say had such incredible resonance. And I was like, this is like first time since, Bryn, I feel like that too, where it's like something where you just go, every sentence is like, is a bar. Every sentence is something that someone could make a whole podcast off of. That's what I was drawn to. I was like, wow, this is like, I don't know. It feels inspired to me. Is that what you're feeling? Because I feel that from this. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt.
Yeah, that's what we try to describe to people as customer service. What you're getting from me is how I feel about what I'm doing. So I don't have to even explain it to you or sell it to you in that sense, right? I'm not trying to convince you that I'm here to serve you. You can tell, but it's because you're getting what I first have. You are feeling what I feel when I'm up here, when I'm waking up before I get up here. So you're getting that. So I don't have to have some type of separate or artificial form of customer service, right? Right. You're only getting what I give. You're feeling the joy that I feel, right? Or you're inspired by the words that I'm inspired to say, right? So they're doing the same thing for you that they're doing for me. Right. So we don't have to create a separate lane. Like, okay, I'm saying this. Now let me get a department of customer service where I can now there's no separation between the two. Right.
Just so you know, it did come. Sometimes people, like, for me as a coach, it's like really hard when sometimes you have no feedback. So I'm just giving you that, like, because I was sort of, how you're scrolling and you're just like stopping something. You're like, I kept waiting for it to not resonate, and it never stopped resonating. I was like,
oh, thank you.
I was like, and I was like, okay. I was just like, that was really, really whew.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I do definitely appreciate the feedback. I do understand when you talk about it. Yeah, you say things, you're like, am I just spitting in the wind here? Is this just like a dark tunnel where is anybody hearing me? Like, hello? Like, yeah. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I do.
And Tammy, wait till you see, we got we're doing a podcast that we're recording, and we got Bryn and Lucky together. So you're gonna get a good set on that one.
Are you guys doing snaps here or claps here?
We can snap too.
You can,
Okay,
That's Bryn's thing. We snap
oh,
each other.
man,
snap,
you can
'cause it's
snap,
somehow-
clap, scream, jump up and down. You can do whatever.
I gotta
you know.
I gotta see the two of you together, because that's gonna be, when are you dropping your podcast? Like, when is that start?
I'm still working on that, but it's gonna be soon. Yeah.
Okay, and after I want to talk to you another time about businessy stuff. Like, I just want to know more about what you help people with, because I've been looking for some things and I don't know. But that's off the time.
Okay.
Okay. But anyway, like I am looking forward to that conversation. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Carl.
to the meeting of the minds, we'll call it, right?
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
heart to the spirit.
It was great. It was great.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, Fred.
Set this up.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Man, what do you want?
Market.
Yeah.
Please don't start. Don't start today.
Yeah. Hey, this is my brother, so I can talk to him like that.
Oh man, look at
Yeah.
that.
There's no respect at all. Just, hey to everyone else, how you doing? Like, oh hell, what do you want? What do you want
Hey,
now?
this is when I mute myself and fade to the back.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Yes. All right. Well, hey, we're getting ready to get started. Let's get it going. I'll probably say it at the end again, but just while I'm thinking about it now, we are going to start opening it up maybe about 6:45, a little bit earlier, just in case people have anything they want to say or talk about, ask a quick question or whatever else it is. I always want to reward people for getting here a little bit earlier. I think it's important for us to be able to give our best effort. We get places early everywhere else. That's important, right? Basketball game, Black Friday, people be out there 3 days at Target sitting outside and roughing it and all kind of other stuff. And, so I want people to say, man, if I get on early, let me see what I can find. Let me see what I can get. I want everybody to not only be excited when we're here, but excited coming and realize like, hey man, let's get as much from as we can, right? So just wanted to say that. All right, so getting started, and everybody who missed the beginning, too bad for them. Watch the replay. But we coming off from the gate, fire starting already. Okay. This is sometimes to know what something is, we have to kind of say what it isn't. Sometimes we try to balance it off. Sometimes it's like, this is what it is. Well, sometimes this is what it isn't. So sometimes we can be clear on both sides of the coin and stuff like that. This is not a seminar. This is not like a service, like a Sunday service. This is not like this is not something, it's not a one-off. What I mean by that is this is not something to come to once a week and then feel like this is all you need for the week. This is not something you just come to and say, if I just go one time, I'm good forever. What we're doing here in this one day is the same thing you do one day when you take a bath, right? You take a shower or you brush your teeth or you eat. Just imagine this is a lifestyle, what we're talking about here. When we're talking about thinking is a lifestyle. We're doing it all the time, even when we're asleep. That's what we're dreaming, right? We're conscious all the time, even whether we're conscious or unconscious, whether our subconscious is working. We're still, as long as we are alive, quote unquote, this is what we're doing. So this is not a sermon or a seminar. This isn't something just one day a week. And a lot of times when a lot of the struggles we have when it comes to thinking properly is because we only do it intermittently, or we only do it when something's bad or wrong. If look at everything that we do in life that we're successful at, it's consistent. You know, we bathe every day, we brush our teeth every day, we eat every day, we sleep every day, pretty much. It's the things that we do daily. It doesn't matter what those things are, whether you want to call them good or bad, holy or unholy. We only get better at them, more familiar at them, more comfortable with them, more consistent with them. They only become more of a part of us in our life because of consistency, not because of people's judgment on what they are or aren't, right? So this is a lifestyle, what we're talking about. This is something. Thinking and learning how to think is what we're here to do, right? So I was speaking to someone the other day, and I want anybody on here can do it. I want somebody to look on their, I want somebody to go on their computer and go on the etymology dictionary, and I want you to look up the word doctor. So while you're thinking about it before you do, I'm telling you, this is what I am. This is what I am. This is what I'm here doing. So whoever got it and wants to read it, go for it. Go ahead, Kari. I see you first.
All right. Circa 1300, doctor, church father from the Old French doctor, and directly from medieval Latin, doctor, religious teacher, advisor, scholar. In classical Latin, teacher. Agent, noun from docere, to show, teach, cause, to know. Originally, make to appear right. Causative of docere, to be seemly fitting.
That's it. I am here. The word medical doctor came well over a century later, and really centuries later as it kind of evolved, right? That's why if you look at the word, when somebody said they have a doctorate, right? They're talking about scholar. They're talking about schooling. The word doctor that we really are talking about, a medical doctor, was really more the word leech. The word, like bloodsucker, the word leech. They dealt with blood, but they're dealing with they'll tell you metaphysically that life is in the blood. Your life is in your blood. So, but they really weren't just dealing with the actual blood. They were dealing with kind of sorcery. That's where the word pharmacy comes from. It's a Greek word. It means pharmakeia. It means sorcery. They're dealing with words and speaking to your body and things like that. They're dealing with healing and speaking to your body and things. So that's where those kind of words come from. So not to digress too much, but the word medical doctor really comes from the word leech. That's really what the original term comes out of, right? And so when I say I'm a doctor, I don't mean that like as entitled. I'm just telling you what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here is teaching you. What I'm doing here is forming you back to yourself, to bring you out, to know who you are. I'm leading you back to yourself. I'm pulling you out of the dark into the light to show you who you are, not who I want you to be, not who I think you should be, but who you are, right? And that's what a doctor does. They are a teacher of something to help people rise, to help people be informed, to form them, to fit them so they're more seemly, so that they're put back in correct shape. They're put back in correct form. That's what I'm doing here. I'm not lecturing you. I'm not talking at you. I am talking with you. I am doing to you what you would do to anything you love to make sure it was healthy. Whether it was a flower, whether it's your children, you water it, you talk to it nicely, you pet it, you prune it, right? It may hurt a little bit here and there, right? I'm sure a flower, if it could, would say ouch when the gardener comes, right? But it's so that when you drive by that street, you look at that lawn, you say, wow. You look at that garden and you say, wow, because it has been shaped, it has been formed, it has been pruned, it has been cut, it has been weeded, it has been watered. That is what I'm here doing, right? For you to be your best you. Your best you is whatever you are, whatever that is. I'm not here to tell you what that is, but I'm here to tell you that I'm right. I'm here to tell you that I'm right. Now, this is what we do here. We think. So when I say I'm right, instead of doing what most people do, they start assuming what that means. They assume or agree, or they assume and get offended, When I say something, I want you to do kind of what I see Kari doing a little bit. It's thinking, right? And he and I have had enough conversation kind of offline where I think he does that, started to probably do that a little more naturally when I say things, because it's always loaded. There's always more to it than you think. But that's my point, is to get you to think. It's to get you. So when I say I'm right, what am I saying? What do you think if I'm here to teach you and I'm here to help you, right? To bring you out and back to yourself. When I say I'm right, what do you think I could be referring to? What am I saying I'm right about?
You're right in the head.
Okay. Anyone else? I'm saying I'm right. What am I right? What am I right about?
Yourself. Your positioning.
Cool. All right. What else? What do you think? What am I right about?
I guess your beliefs, right? You have faith in your beliefs. You
Okay.
feel strong in your beliefs, or
Okay. Cool. All of those are really good and all of them are wrong. And I love it. Thank you. I'm right about one thing. I'm right about one thing and one thing only. And it's the only thing I'll ever be right about when I'm saying it in this context. I am right about you. I am right about when I tell you you are far beyond my vocabulary to describe, in brilliance, in greatness, in ability, in all those things. I am right about you. I am pulling you out of the darkness into the light so that you can see yourself. When you dress yourself every day, it's cool, but who dresses themselves and never looks in the mirror? It's nice to know what you think you're doing, but it's also nice to have a light. It's also to have a reflection, to have something where something that allows you to see yourself as you truly are, not as necessarily you meant to be or how you meant to present yourself, but how you're truly presenting yourself. Right? So when I say I'm right, this is the one thing I would say I am right about. It's not disputable. It's not religious. It's not sexist, racist. It's not my personal opinion. It's not my truth. It is actual fact, like today is, Saturday in America. Not in other countries, but in America. I'm right. I'm right about you. I'm right when I tell you you have everything within you that it takes to be whatever you desire in your mind and in your heart. Everything is there. And what I am doing when I say I'm a doctor, when you looked up that word etymologically, not a medicine doctor, that's different. When I say I'm a doctor and you looked up the word, right? And you're like, oh, wow, that is what I'm here. I'm letting you know what I'm here for. So when I'm talking to you, this is not about me in the sense of like, look at what I think, look at what I believe, look at what I'm saying, look at what I know. No, I'm saying to you that I'm right. And everything I'm right about means I know that you are far greater than I could ever describe you. And so with that knowledge of absolute truth and fact, everything I say to you is to pull you out. It's to stand you up, is to dust you off like we would with our kids when they fall off a bike, or when they're learning to walk and they fall down, whether just little people, or all these different things. A lot of times as adults, especially, we have learned and almost expected to fall/fail. And we get used to just sitting there and we don't even cry anymore. We just have learned to figure out how to deal with it. Right? We just learn to deal with sitting down, with the failure. We just learned to think like, oh, well, let me just make the most of it. Somebody's got it worse. I can't complain. I can't call it. Well, even if I complain, nobody's going to listen. Right? We've learned to just kind of say, well, I'm not in this place I want to be, but I'll just make the most of it. But if you look at anything before it gets smart, it doesn't do that. The baby falls, it may holler and cry for a second, but it will get back up because it's like, shit, I got to go. I can't stay up in here. I got to keep it moving. Right? Or anything, when we cut ourselves, our whole body goes to heal it, to restore it back to its rightful state. There are so many words that we use every day. And because we don't really know what they mean, we don't really actually realize what we're saying. Like the word depression. Depression. That is an old Latin word, right? Deprimer. When we're talking about depression, how are we using that word? What is that word meaning? What does that word mean?
Lowered state of mind.
Okay, so to D, right? It's two words, D, and then basically press, right? So this is down. D means down in this word. It means down, and press, like to press down. That's what it means. Depress. It means to press down. So when we say somebody is suffering depression, what are we really saying?
They're feeling pressed down.
They're feeling pressed down. So let's just say physically, somebody could beat you up, let's say. Physically, let's just say. But Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. So if we are depressed, if we are pressed down, what part of ourselves is depressed or pressed down?
Our spirit, our mind.
Our spirit, our mind, our consciousness, right? So then who did that?
We did. We allowed it.
Say it again.
We allowed it.
Yes.
Hello?
We did it.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Yes, we are depressed. We are pressed down. So, and I said, who did that? Right? And you said, we did, I did, because it's not a physical thing. Nobody else can make that happen. They can influence it. They can try to affect it. They can call you names. They can do this or do that. But our depression, whatever it's about, and however intense it is our own doing. It doesn't mean we don't have motivation. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean there aren't factors that could contribute to our allowance of it, but we still have to accept it. So what I'm saying to you is that is something that we're doing to ourselves. If we don't realize we're doing it to ourselves, for whatever reason we're doing it, we're not talking about the facts and we're not saying all the physical things that would influence that to happen. But what I'm saying is those things that influence us, whether we allow them or not, they cannot until we allow them. Because we're the only ones that can depress ourselves. It's not a physical thing. Nobody can just come in and beat us up. They can't beat our spirit up, right? We can beat our spirit up by allowing what someone says to us and using that as something to depress ourselves. So why am I saying it this way? Why am I forming it this way? Because I want you to understand that if you are depressing yourself, then if you're using a medication, if you are just sitting in the dark, if you're doing it to yourself, how is something else going to help you if you can't or you won't? How do you ever get out of something that you're causing if you don't stop? So what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that there aren't outward things. I'm not saying that there aren't influences and factors. But what I'm saying is that all those outward things and influences and factors, as we grow and mature in mind, we learn to either accept or not, to entertain or not, to allow or not, or for a certain amount of time, and then say, okay, this is no longer serving me. When we're all in our home, somebody knocks on the door. I mean, we have a choice. We've all done it. Sometimes we're like, man, I'm not here. High, get low, high. Right? Sometimes we'll say we're not here. Sometimes we'll say, who is it? Sometimes we'll look through the peephole. Sometimes we just have an expectation who it is and we go and just open the door. But no matter how they got in, we let them in. Now we let them in because they knocked, but just because they knocked doesn't mean we have to let them in. Right? And so I'm using this to not minimize depression. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, though, that we can't fix something we don't understand what we're really saying when we say the word. When we think depression is just a state that is caused on the outside, and so we have to either medicate ourselves or we have to do, okay, cool, but it's never going to end because the only thing or the only person that can end it is the person who started it. That's it. It's the only person that can end it is the person who started it. But because we don't know we started it, we think someone else started it. Oh, I lost my job, so I went into depression. Oh, they won't call me back, so I go to depression. Oh, my car broke down and I had to walk 2 miles, so I go to depression. My point is that there are external factors that will always be there in life. It rains, it snows, it this, it that. There's always something external. Our ability to deal with the external is based on our awareness and our maturity. It rains. A baby's not going to say, get a jacket, right? But an older person or an adult, a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, an adult will get a jacket. So they just know they're both rained on, but one, because of their maturity and their awareness, they will put a jacket on. So they know how to deal with the external, right? Where a baby if the parent doesn't get a jacket, the baby just rained on. It doesn't know what a jacket is. It's not thinking about where's my coat, where's my hat, or whatever else it is, right? So the external world is always there, but how we deal with it is based on who we are and who we believe ourselves to be, right? That is how we deal with the external world. So go into this. When, you know how, like when we were young, and it's people don't do it anymore, but even historically, that's what the word blessed or blessed means. Blessing, blessed. It's basically saying that was actually a ritual or a rite. It was actually something where you're consecrating something. You're setting it apart. That's kind of what communion, what is it? Baptism. Like when you baptize a baby, that's kind of what they're being blessed. It is a ritual or a ceremony, and it was originally done by sprinkling on blood onto an altar. It was to consecrate something, to make it holy. That's what the word actually means. It's actually a ceremony, right? The word like blessed. It's actually a ceremony that consecrated you as holy or now in God's favor, so that you were protected, so to speak, that you had an agreement. But it means sprinkled blood. It's a covenant. It's an agreement. So I don't know if most of you got the email and the title of this, and it's basically like pinky swear, or like pinky promise. And so you know how like when we're young, everybody does like, you swear, pinky swear, like when you're young, right? And kids' things are so good. They're such good examples and analogies a lot of times because they're so innocent and they mean it. Until somebody lies the first time, they don't think about lying. They don't really have that concept. So I use a lot of youthful references because we can kind of see the origin of something, how it was really meant to be and how it used to work, right? So when people used to say, I have a handshake deal, right? Nobody was drawing up contracts in 1300. Right. And things like that. It was like, you said you're going to be there. I'm going to be there. And we shook on it. Everything was the agreement between the two people. You didn't need a judge. You didn't need a jury. You didn't need all this other stuff. But as people got trickier and shadier and started losing their mind, then you had to start having tools, right, and resources to keep people to their word. That just goes to show you how far people have kind of gone off the road. But anyway, so pinky promise. So this is what I want people to understand. When I say I'm right, I am talking about the greatness that's in you. I'm talking about the power that's in you, the wisdom that's in you, the ability that's in you, the know-how that's in you to reach the desires that come within you. Your desires don't need your help. They need your permission. They don't need your help. They need your permission. They're not coming to you. If the idea came to you, you didn't think that up. The idea came to you. It doesn't need your help. It just needs the platform to express itself. That's what it needs. It needs the platform. It needs the thing to express itself. The computer, you don't need the computer to write a novel. You can write a novel, but you may need the computer as a platform to express it, to get it out online, to get it to, so you can type it instead of writing it. But whether you typed it or you write it or you say it, sing it, doesn't matter how it is, you are who you are. The thing you're using is to express who you are. Those are two separate things that you merge to become one. I am who I am because I know who I am and I know what I want. I'm going to find the best apparatus or person, place, or thing to express myself through. Right? So Your desire, when it comes within you, does not need your help. It needs your permission. It just needs the permission to be. Unless you give it permission to be, you won't get the help. It doesn't need your permission. It doesn't need your help. It needs your permission. Once you give it permission to be and say, okay, I'm going to roll with that. I want to be a millionaire. Okay, I'm going to roll with that. I'm now a millionaire. I don't know how to do that, but it wasn't my idea, meaning consciously, it wasn't my idea. It came to me. That's a desire that came to me. So I don't have to figure out how to work that out, but I have to give it the apparatus. I have to give it the place to express itself. So I'm going to give it permission by saying, okay, I'm now in agreement with this. So then once I become in agreement, then guess what? Now I get the help. Now once you turn the computer on and the power's on, you can actually see the thing working, right? The computer doesn't need your help to type, so to speak, but you got to turn the power on to use it. There is a symbiotic relationship. You do this, I do this. You turn the power on, and you click this, I'll put it up on the screen. You press send, I'll send it out. There's a relationship between you and your desire. So when I say it doesn't need your help, it just needs your permission. It just says, okay, I desire to be a millionaire. I desire to lose 30 pounds. I desire to have this. Okay, that's a desire. But I now say, okay, I now give permission for this desire to exist by saying I am this. I'm 30 pounds lighter. I'm now a millionaire. I don't know how to do that. I don't know. But where the desire comes from is the same place where the desire can be met. That's where the power is coming. That's where the help is coming from. The help says, you said, okay, help is on the way. Right? Help is on the way. The help now will come in the form of ideas. It will come in the form of whatever it is. So let me back up a little bit. When you say you want to be something, when there's a power and wisdom in you, and you say you want to be something, you are simply saying within you, within us all, there's power and wisdom. There is the ability to be whatever we want. That power and wisdom is always exercising itself according to what we think we are. Fat, short, tall, skinny. And so according to that consciousness, it creates the physical reflection of that thought. When you say, I want to be this thing, you're making a pinky promise between the persona, the person you are, and your inner self that has your higher self that's in you, where all the power and wisdom to be anything, where everything is created is. You go there and you say, okay, I'm going to sit down. I want to be this thing. Okay, do we have an agreement? Okay, let's pinky swear. So we're now agreeing. We're now agreeing to be something. As a result of this agreement, I now am saying this is what I am. As a result of this agreement, my partner says, okay, now I'm going to move things in place for this to be expressed, our agreement. When you have an agreement with something or with someone, it's only with whom or what you have the agreement with. So when you say, I'm going to lose 30 pounds and you're excited and you believe it, and then you tell your friends and they're like, girl, please. Now, after 40, it don't really work like that. Now, why are you out here? Now, you didn't have 2 kids. Girl, come on. Seriously? Or, right? They say, hey, man, you know what, bro? I had this great idea. I'm going to be a millionaire, right? And you're like, homie, you didn't even finish high school. And you know it's black, and you know you black. Black lives don't even matter. So I don't even know how you think you're going to do that, right? But we made a mistake. What mistake did we make?
We
What
listen
mistake?
to them.
Say it again.
We listen to them. We let those words influence us. That's the
Okay,
mistake.
and what's the mistake about that?
It's not us influencing ourselves. Well, that's letting external influences determine how we're going to be versus us making a decision on our own.
Okay, Tammy?
Literally, I mean, at my age, you don't want to tell anybody anything because everybody, I'm going to be 60 this year. And Bryn always says, don't tell your age, because it's like, people are like, I said, oh, I'm going to lose weight or I'm going to do this. They're like, oh, I mean, I had more friends tell me, oh, once you're over 50, you can't, that's like in the way you're supposed to be that weight. And I'm like, I was never this weight. It happened just because of COVID. I know, it literally, I put those sandwiches in my mouth. I'm this weight not because of my age, but because I physically ate too much. I've never been so. And then I was like, and everybody that or mentors of mine or in their 60s and 70s are perfectly fabulous weight. I'm like, wait, am I going crazy? And but even those kind of things, like I just at this age, I have stopped. I don't like those people are not necessarily in my inner circle, but I have learned that to never like put it out there if I don't want to hear that negative, like, or just be with people that are going to say, yes, you can. Age is irrelevant. It's, that kind of crowd. But it's funny because I was sitting in a place I'm sorry to talk too much, but it's a place that I was a lot of people my age that weren't my friends. And the only thing that any of them could talk about was their ailments. And I was like, like it was like this ache and that, where this weight and this, that. And I was like, so you are hitting it right on the money with that,
Right.
with age.
And Natasha put in the chat, you asked permission.
Yeah. So one of the first levels or layers or foundations I want everybody to understand is that you can tell anybody anything you want. That's your choice. The reason you shouldn't do it, if you can do that, it doesn't matter. But if you tell people, be okay with what they said. A lot of times you can't tell people because you're not okay with what they say. And then what happens? You abandon the agreement with the person you made the agreement with, and it wasn't even them. I made an agreement with Kari that I'm going to be at the gym and work out and look like he does. I sit there, I get up in the morning and, and Veronica says, man, you ain't going to ever look like that cat. Have you seen him? And so I'm like, well, forget you. And then I just say, well, then I'm going back to bed. So because of what she said to me, I abandoned my agreement that I had with him. Right? So when I say you can tell people anything you want, you can as long as you're willing to be okay with whatever they say, as long as it doesn't cause you to abandon the agreement with whom you made it. Most people can't do that. So that's why it's best you keep your mouth closed, because sometimes you kind of control your own thoughts. You don't need no help, right? You don't need a Costco. I already got enough depression and poverty and everything else. I don't need a Costco side. I don't need any more weight on my back, right? So when I say, yes, you can tell anybody you want, but in most cases, for most people, you shouldn't, because you're not ready to hear what you already have enough fight. The battle's already uphill for most people until we learn. So it's best to keep it quiet, right? So that you can just deal with one person and not somebody else. And then somebody say, well, where is it? Girl, you've been there 3 weeks. You still, it ain't I don't know. How much is that costing you? You'll be so messed up going to the workout. Even if you do, you might as well just not even go. My point is that the agreement that you make within yourself, that is the only place you go to for your help. That is where your help is coming from. That is whom you agreed with. So when you're saying, I am something, and it's saying, I will help you be whatever you want to be, you make the decision, I'll do the action. You make the decision by saying, I am now 30 pounds lighter. I am now a millionaire. I am now successful. I am now. That is my part of the agreement. This side is, I will power that. I will bring that into your physical experience. As long as you remain faithful to me, I'll remain faithful to you. But you start talking to all these other people and they got you abandoning the one person that you had the agreement with. You didn't have an agreement with them. So second step is, if you don't have an agreement with them, it doesn't matter what they say and you're not asking for their help. You're only asking for the help of the person you made the agreement with. That's who you can take to court. That's who you can sue. That's who you can do anything to, so to speak, because that's who your agreement is with. And what I'm saying to you, step one, is within you have the power and wisdom to be anything you want. When you have a desire, it doesn't need your help. It just needs your permission. It needs the physical apparatus to express what you are willing to accept. But that is an agreement. You're now saying, okay, if I'm willing to say I am this thing, or I have this thing, or whatever else it is, I am now willing to accept my end of the agreement, which is I'm going to remain faithful to this concept of myself, faithful to it and faithful to the person I came into agreement with.
I want to say what John said, because I think
Yes.
he should expand. So John said we have to limit our desires for validation too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's absolutely correct, John. because the validation is you're trying to get somebody to say yes to something they never agreed to. It doesn't matter what they say. You're not talking to them. We're all adults here. How many times have you told somebody to mind their own business? How many times have you done that? Right. I mean, we don't have no problem with it any other time. Mind your business. But sometimes you help people best to do that by not telling them your business. I mean, you can't let somebody in and they say, why are you in here? You can't tell somebody your good news and then say, well, I can't believe you say that to me. What do you mean? They didn't say you could do it in the first place. You're just telling them something. They're like, well, but they can only give you what they have. If they don't think they can do it, sometimes they just like, well, you can't do it either. Right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're negative. It's negative to you because they don't agree with you. But to them, that's just keeping it real. To them, they're just telling the truth. It's not about you or against you. It just feels that way. But that's why I say you can tell them or not. But if you can't handle what somebody says, don't tell them. Right? Because if what they say is going to make you abandon the agreement with who you have the agreement with, don't do that. You can do that once you know this person so well, once you know your inner self so well that once you decide you two come into agreement, you can tell the roof, you can have a press conference. Don't matter what people say or think, because you have so much confidence in this other part of yourself, and you know each other. Like a great relationship. It doesn't matter where you go. I know this person is faithful to me. It doesn't matter where they go. But also because they're faithful, they won't go certain places. So when you're faithful to something, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what I see or don't see. I know how they are to me. But also because I know how they are to me, there's just certain things I won't see. After a while, once I get into such a relationship with my inner self, there's just certain thoughts I don't think anymore. Or that when they come, they're just like, man, that was, right? Man, that was deep. That wasn't for me. But they're old things that used to be there. And sometimes, like an old relationship, somebody calls just to check in to see how you doing, right? Sometimes it's like old mail. When you move, you forward your mail. And sometimes there's some old mail that just doesn't go with this new place, right? Sometimes there's some old things that trail and follow, but the longer you're faithful to this thing, it just dies because it doesn't have your attention. Just like a relationship, a thought is a relationship. It's a thought, it's a decision, it's an idea that you have a relationship with, that you have like, it is this and me and I am me and this and I are like this, right? And if that's a good one, you enjoy it. If it's a bad one, you don't, right? So you have to figure out the thoughts that you're entertaining. Is this a good relationship? I was talking to Kari this week, where he and I were chopping it up, and we talked about there are some things you shouldn't try to fight through or get over. Some things you should just let go. There's some things you shouldn't bring with you. When you move to your new house or when you get a new car, do you take all the trash out of your old car and be like, oh, that's a receipt. That's a McDonald's receipt. Man, I didn't bring this in my new car. And you're like, hey, why are you taking all this junk from here? Oh, well, it's mine. It's like, dude, this is a great opportunity since you're getting something new, this new car, or this new house, or this new idea, this new concept of yourself. Leave that over there. You should throw away. There's a reason there's trash cans in the world. And you can even recycle it if you like. Let somebody else take that thought. I can't lose weight over 50. Let somebody else have that. You ain't got to just get it off your back. Get it out your car. Get it out your house. Put it in the trash recycling. If somebody wants to dumpster dive, let them go ahead. They want to get in there and get some of that, let them have it. You don't want it, so you don't care. Right? So there's some things there's a lot more things than we want to believe. We are emotional hoarders. We want to take every relationship or every experience from 2 years old off until we can start thinking all the way up to death and carry it with us. And then we wonder why, like Erykah Badu, we're a bag lady, a bag dude. You're going to miss your bus. You got too much stuff. You can't make the bus and you're already late like Santa Claus with a big old bag of emotion on your back and you trucking down the street trying to take this bus. It ain't gonna work. First of all, you ain't gonna catch it, and then they ain't gonna let you on there with this big old bag of trash. Who are you? If you're a trash man, do that outside. You can't come on the bus. Nobody want to smell that. Nobody want to sit next to that. Sit next to you. You smell. It smells. It takes up too much room, and you got to go. Or you can't get on here, man. You have to make you or the bag. Which one you want?
John put in the chat, cleanse/detox.
That's it. That's it. Right? So what we're saying here is that number one, in you, You have the power and wisdom to be anything you want to be. There is the ability and the know-how. It's not asking for your help to be that. It's already powerful and wise. Your higher self is already that. But you have come into physical form. So now the persona, the Kari, the Tammy, the Johns, the Monas, all of us on here, right, are now the platform that we have come into in this body. And so we now need our persona's permission to say, hey, I'm willing to agree with that. I'm willing to say I'm this so that I can have this experience. But that's what you came here for. Who goes to the amusement park just to sit down on the bench? Who goes to the grocery store just to look and see what everybody else is buying? What are we doing here? We came here to have experiences. Marriage is an experience. Education is an experience. Parenting is an experience. Being a child is everything is an experience. That's what we came here for. There are different kinds, different types, but we came here to have experiences. That's why we came, right? And what we are doing here, what I am doctoring you in, what I am bringing the darkness and eliminating that and bringing you out to the light is to say that you came here. That's what we came here for. Now, yours may be different than mine. I'm not the biggest roller coaster fan. My daughter loves it, but since she's still younger, when she was 9 or 10, I had to go on every one she went on, and it sucked. I did not want to do it, but she wanted to do it. So I had to go with her, right? So that wasn't necessarily my desired experience, but it was hers, right? So some experiences we share, right, out of love, out of loyalty, out of necessity, whatever, they ain't gonna kill us. They're just not something we would go out and do. I would never go to another park again. I've been at so many parks in my life. I can just drive by one like, oh, that's nice, and keep it pushing. Right? But since I have a young person, right? She wants to go to the park. She wants to play in the jungle gym. She wants to go see if there's friends there. And so I'm at the park, right? So those are things that we have certain shared experiences, but the common denominator is experiences. Not that the experiences are the same, but that we have experiences. So our desires are unique and individual to us. They're unique and individual to us. So if the same place they came from is the same place the power is coming from to make it happen, as long as you give it permission to be so. And you're faithful with your permission. Here's where it goes wrong. We get up and we say, we say, okay, I'm gonna drop 30 pounds or I'm gonna be a millionaire. We tell somebody, let's use another one. I want to get a raise. We go to our boss and we say, hey, we got a whole chart. We didn't did it big, like we're in high school. We got graphs, you got flow charts, we got a Gantt chart of how much we've done in this life. I mean, we didn't went all out. Got our best suit on, perfume, cologne, shoes. We didn't really brush our teeth like 2 or 3 times to make sure. I mean, they were just shining like toddler teeth. So we were ready, right? And we give him or her the whole thing. And they say, that was, first of all, just bravo. That was no. And you like, wait, I just knew I was about to get it. No, what do you mean no? And so then when you go to them and they say no to your raise, what happens after that? Like a bomb. People drop like a bomb. They literally fall all out, attitude messed up. They messed up for a nice little bit. I hope you don't ask them for anything during those moments. Because you might get slapped, stabbed, punched, anything could happen. Right? Because this person said no. So in that moment, before we went in there, it was our idea. It was our desire. We went to a person who in the human world is we go to ask for something. That's cool. They said no. As soon as they say no, we go down. What essentially just happened? What happened to our desire?
Got killed.
It got killed. Who killed it?
We did.
By doing what?
Believing what other people tell us instead of ourselves.
So then how many gods do you think we have?
Too many.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna go on and hit you with this one. I hope everybody's sitting down. This is it. It's coming. I'm letting you guys know. 5, 4, 3, it's countdown. If you don't want to be mad at God, choose the right one. If you want to make your boss that and you go to them with their dream and they tell you you ain't shit, then guess what? Your dream dies with the person who told you no. Your dream dies, your request dies, your desire dies with the person that you went to that didn't agree with you. Most often we go to people and there's nothing wrong with going to people. If you're in the grocery store and they don't know, you say, oh, okay, cool, no problem. Maybe I'll ask somebody else, or maybe I'll look a little bit harder. But you don't let your dream or your desire die with the person you asked. You've done what you should do in the human world. So now you turn around and do what we're talking about now. You access the power and wisdom that's in you where the desire came from in the first place. And you say, look, I really want to raise. I really want to raise. So you know what? I'm now assuming that I have a raise, whether it's 10%, 20,000 more, whatever else it is. You're going to the place where the power and the wisdom is, where the know-how and the ability is. What we have to understand now is that once we have that agreement within ourselves, the only thing we focus on at that point, we have to separate two things. If you want to know how to do this, you have to separate outcome and influence. If you want to get something, it doesn't matter whether you ask someone or not, whether you ask them or not, you still want what you want. So whether you ask or not, you still want it. If they say yes or no, you still want it until you get it. It is self-satisfying. It is self-gratifying. It doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. So if you want to always guarantee you have it, first thing you do is go within yourself. If you have a husband, you say, can you put some gas in my car? That makes sense. But if you're asking for something that you can't ask a human for, you're essentially, connotatively, you're essentially praying. If you're praying now, you're praying to someone else or something else. Wherever you're taking that request to, that is where you keep it. So what you do is you focus on the outcome. You go to that part of yourself and focus on the outcome. This is what I want to be. I want $20,000 more. It doesn't matter why you want it. You don't have to justify that or explain that to anyone. It's your desire to be a basketball player, a rap singer, or whatever you want to do, right? It's your desire. So now you go to your inner self where the power and wisdom is, where the know-how and the ability is, and you focus on the outcome. The agreement is, this is what I want to be, and this is the outcome I want to achieve. So now this is where you stay in the outcome. The person, your inner self, will do that. They will be the influence. Your inner self, which people call God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, knows everything and everyone. It knows where everything is. It knows who, what, where, when, how, why, whatever else it is. It knows where to go and who to go to or whatever is necessary to produce this outcome. It's working on the outcome. You're standing there, it's doing the job now. You have assigned it a task that you can't do. Otherwise, you would say, tell your husband, put some gas in my car, please, or honey, can you make me some coffee? When you go to just things like that, you're not praying really. You're asking for something. When you're asking for something that you don't know how to do, you're essentially praying. You're going to now a part of yourself, go inward. The mistake we make is going outward. We end up praying to other people. So we end up praying to our boss. How do we know? Because when they say,
what the fuck are you doing?
I see it, we live here. I like it. Right? We're going to, what we have to do is, right? When we go in, we now say, okay, I am. We define ourselves by the outcome now. And we stay there. We stay faithful to that relationship. My relationship has nothing to do with my boss. It has nothing to do with my sister, my brother, my mom, my dad. Those people, when I try to deal with those people and it doesn't work, right? That's now I'm trying to influence. I'm saying, oh, well, I want this raise. So I'm going to try to do everything I can. I ask, they say no. Since I couldn't influence them, I die. I die. My desire dies with the person I asked that didn't agree, says no, can't do it, won't do it. A lot of the times, the people we're asking the wrong people, but we don't know it. We're thinking like, oh, my husband loves me so much that he should be able to just fix my car. Love don't make him a mechanic. You met the dude and he's been a doctor. When did love change his profession? When did that happen? Oh, she loved me so much she should just make me coffee every morning. Man, what are you talking? She's a teacher. When did she start being a barista? When did all this stuff happen? When did we start changing what somebody's abilities and skills and knowledge are to fit our desire? We assign the task to people out of ignorance. We think because they love us that they should have a certain amount of skills or abilities, but they don't. They're willing to try because they love us. But a lot of times we put people in positions they shouldn't be in. And they'll die trying because of their love for us. And we'll literally kill them because they love us. But they're not the right person.
So a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
Marcus put in the chat, there is power in silence, believe within, because everything starts from within.
Mhm.
Then Kari says he wishes his wife was here to hear that because he don't fix cars.
Man, I mean, if something breaks down here, I'm like, oh shoot, it's broken. What are we gonna do? I can't help you. What you mean? Hey, the faucet's leaking. It sure is. Man, it sure is. Man, it's big too. I'm not going, I've never said, let me go get my tools. What you want me to do with them?
He gets his wallet.
What you want me to do with it? Nah, it didn't work. Man, it's still messed up. All right. That's it. Like that's the extent of what I got. Right? So I got to get what I do have. I have a wallet, right? What do you want me to do? Right? So I'm saying all that to say that the agreement you have with this person, the agreement you have with your inner self, is that part of yourself knows who to influence. That's the part you should stay out of. A lot of the reason that our dreams die is because we assign the task of the outcome to somebody who we think should know, or because they love us, or because they're this, or they're related, or whatever else it is. And they may not know how, want to, be able to, whatever else it is. Whether they do or don't, you still want what you want. So when you assign your task to the wrong person, it will die. And it will die with that person. Your dream will die with that person. So what I'm saying to you is that within you, you have all the ability to make all your dreams, your desires come true. It doesn't need your help. It just needs your permission. How do you give it permission? By saying, okay, I am now willing to consciously associate myself with the outcome of this. If I want to be a doctor, okay, I'm now a doctor. I'm assuming I'm a doctor. And so now I'm going to just assume I am such. So now with that assumption, and I'm walking that assumption constantly, and we'll get to kind of how to do that. I'm walking that assumption constantly. Your inner self is now influencing whatever needs to be influenced for you to physically experience this outcome. Something may come up online that says, want to go back to school to be a doctor? There's a new 24-month program. It knows how to get everything to you. That's what your prayer is. It's talking to yourself, your higher self that has all the ways and means that your physical self does not. I know what I want, but I don't know how to get it. We do it all the time. When we're 5, we say, I want some pancakes. I can't cook. I don't cook, but my mom does. My dad does. So in that moment, your mom and dad is God. They are a higher version of yourself, right? That can get done for you what you want that you don't know how. So when you ask them and they say yes, all you need is their permission. That's it. When they say yes, you're like, then you good. You go and you're in the room playing and everything. You say, and call me when it's done. Or they'll say, Kari, Tammy, or John, Mona, come on out. Pancakes are ready. You didn't influence that. You wasn't in there cooking. You didn't bring no pan out. You could probably burn yourself up, burn the house down, still don't have nothing to eat. And now you guys are homeless and everybody hungry and don't nothing work. Right? You go to your higher self, you go to that part of your mind that knows how to influence whatever needs to be influenced for you to reach your physical outcome. But you have to remain faithful to the agreement that you have. And a lot of times we don't, because we go out and we look for other people. We assign the task. If I want to be a millionaire, I better go ahead and bring my boss coffee every day. I better go ahead and try to figure out who I can make like me. You don't know who that is. You can bring somebody coffee every day. A, they don't say thank you. B, never pay you back, and you still don't get nothing. Right? Or I better make sure I should switch to this company. Now you left your job, went to this company, and now they just said we're laying 1,000 people off. You don't know 3 weeks from now in your conscious mind, but your higher self does. So you have to be faithful to that agreement, because there's things that you would think that would work that don't, and things that you would never think would work do. There's people you swear would give you the shirt off their back and they won't even give you the nickel out the ashtray. There are people, did you guys catch that? I just caught that. That one just, it just came up. Just came up through me like that.
Love it. Love it.
Right. So what I'm saying is that, and there's people you swear, you guys have even argued before, swear I know they don't like me. And you're believing yourself as a doctor or something. They're like, oh, hey, hey, how was your weekend? You're like, oh, good. How was yours? You're trying to be polite. And they're like, oh, my sister was in town and, she's starting this new nursing school and she really, really likes it. And you're like, wait a minute. Right. And she's like, and you're like, oh, really? Oh, yeah. And she just really loves it. I mean, she's going back to school and everything. She has kids and all of your fears, all the things that you thought were going to hold you back. She's literally describing this person to you. And you're like, even talk to this person. Then they're talking to me about another person I don't even know, about a situation that sounds just like mine. And so wait a minute. And so it comes from places you couldn't even imagine. But it's because you could have never influenced that. But the reason it's happening is because you're faithful to the outcome. As long as you remain faithful to the person you had the agreement with, right? It will come, because that's what it's for. But we try to bring in other people after the fact, third parties. And they just, like to say like a third wheel. It's like in high school, you go on a date and your boy want to go with you guys. You're like, man, are you a hater or what? No. Why would you even ask me that? You're like, I'm offended you. No, man, we're not friends. Matter of fact, don't call me, man. What is wrong with you? Right? We bring in third parties. But sometimes it's our wife. Sometimes it's our husband. Sometimes it's, meaning we bring them into the wrong part of the equation. We bring them into the wrong part of the responsibility. We assume because we want to be something, well, my husband's going to have to work 3 jobs. He's going to have to really get on board. Yeah, but you don't necessarily know how to make him get on board with working 3 jobs if that's what it takes. But your higher self does. There ain't nothing, there ain't no, listen, beside there, I'm not going to speak for all guys, but there's no woman that fine to work 3 jobs unless it's literally life or death. You ain't that cute. Now, if it's to keep you alive, I'm doing it. But 3 jobs for what? What do you want that bad? For what? Is this, this is for chemo treatment, a liver transplant? But if it's just so you can do what? Man, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? It said for better or worse. It didn't say for more jobs or less.
You just need to get a higher paid job.
Yeah, something that, or you're gonna have to like, lower your Desire membership. You're gonna have to bring it down a little bit. Go on and get off that platinum plan, man. Go on and get that basic. Just like cable, you better stop it. All these channels, all these desires you got is a little too high for my vertebrae, my energy, and everything else. Right? So I'm saying that sometimes most often, our failure comes from assigning a task to someone because they love us, but that's not who we're in agreement with. Because if we could just ask them, we wouldn't be praying, so to speak. We wouldn't be going to our higher self for something. That's my point. And my point is that by going to your higher self, it knows who to influence, what to influence, where to influence. It knows whether it's raining tomorrow. It knows whether that's, hey, like there's a tornado coming over there. Based on what you want, it knows how to bring the outcome. And so if you remain faithful to that relationship, it will do that. Right? And then it will influence something. It'll influence your husband to do things, your wife to do things, but it won't be you. You're not controlling anybody. It's just that it knows the best way to get this outcome. That's what it's for. That is what it's for. So let me change the words so that people understand a little bit better. Okay. So you have your conscious mind, right? We'll do a little more science, right? Conscious mind and your subconscious mind. When people are talking about repetition, when they're talking about affirmation is just a repetition of words. We're affirming when we go 2 times 2 is 4, enough to believe it. That's all affirmations for. Affirmations are not designed to bring the truth. They're only designed to bring you to it. In the sense of they're not creating truth. They're just bringing you to the conscious realization that it's true. Doesn't make the truth change it. 2 times 2 is 4, whether you know it or not, like it or not. That's why when our kids say 2 times 2 is 5, we're like, whoa, whoa, love you. No, this is not self-esteem. This is not positive thinking. This is not, no, it's 4. It's 4. So let's go over it again. Let's figure it out. No problem, but it's not 5. We can't just roll with that because you're a good person, right? When we affirm something, when we're saying something over and over, a lot of times we have to do that. Not because affirming is necessary to get something. It's not that. You don't have to meditate to get something. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is say what I want, believe you have it, really. It's that simple, and keep it pushing. However, because of our conditioning and the way we've grown up, most of us can't do that. You don't need training wheels to ride a bike. Is anybody gonna put their 3-year-old, 4-year-old on a bike with no training wheels the first time, ever? Anybody gonna do that and just say, God is good? Man, come on, man, like, right? No, we use the training wheels, not because it's necessary to ride a bike, but it's necessary for where you're starting. And a lot of times where we're starting, affirmations are like training wheels. They help us understand how this thing works. They help us keep the bike or our mind upright. Especially as the world goes, right? As cars go by, right? As people are walking by. You know, your 4-year-old on a bike with no training wheels, the first time they're running into the cars, into the street, people, dogs, the fence, grass, they're everywhere, right? And that's our mind without affirmations a lot of times when we're first learning. They're not necessary to get our desires. Our desires are already true. They are helpful to condition our mind to a new truth, to a new reality, to a new understanding of ourselves. And our mind, our subconscious mind, learns from our conscious mind repeatedly giving it something over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It is how we've learned everything, whether it's math, how to ride a bike, how to read, how to write. We do it over and over and over and over. All the so-called bad thoughts, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, all those things, all they are is this process. It's the same thing. But the reason we have to do affirmation so much is because these things, most of the things we think, literally depress us. So now our subconscious here, now it's literally down here. It's literally like this now. Our consciousness, the way we are believing ourselves to be, is now down here. We have depressed ourselves and I can't afford it. Man, I can't get this weight off. Man, nobody really likes me. Oh man, it's hard out here. Money doesn't grow on trees. You got to have money to make money. We say all kind of things that the whole world says, but if you think like the world, you'll get what the world has. Does everybody look happy to you in the world? When somebody's walking in Target, you're like, hey, how you doing? People look at you like, what, me? Who are you talking to? Like, you might as well, you would have probably been better saying F you and walking by. They'd have been like, right on. You've been better saying negative stuff to people. They'll spend more time with you. They may buy you something to eat. They'll rub your back. They'll call, hey man, I'm just calling to check on you. Like everybody, but if you say, oh man, I'm doing well, nobody will call you. Now, like nobody will call you. The good kid in class, how much help they get? Where all the teacher's attention go? To the bad kids. The ones that are coming in late, sleeping in the back of the class, come with no backpack, talking all the time. They get all the attention, right? So what I'm saying is that we have, over time, we have conditioned ourselves. These thoughts have got here first. We've been conditioned since we were young. These thoughts have got here first. Old school finders keepers. These thoughts have found our mind and they trying to keep it, right? Because like we always say, like our mind is trying to keep us safe, right? It's trying to keep us in the consciousness, in the identity that is familiar. Our mind doesn't care what it is. It's just familiar. That's the only thing it cares about, familiarity. It doesn't care about rich, poor, black, white, fat, skinny. If you want to change it, you're going to have to work hard to change it. And I don't mean hard, literally. It doesn't have to be that way, but I'm saying it's like a door. You're going to have to know how to click it, or you're going to have to push real hard, because it's designed to keep the things in it, the people in it. If you just went like this and it opened, you'd be messed up, right? You might as well not have one. So your mind is kind of like that. It's designed to keep you safe, but it's still easy to open. It's easy to change, but to a baby, it's hard. They don't think about the handle. They just, right? So in our mind, we're like babies a lot of times. And we have to mature in our mind just the way we do in our body. right? So when we talked about earlier, when Tammy was on a little bit earlier, and we were and I was saying something about customer service. You cannot separate customer service from yourself. You can't serve your customers any better than you are. How many 3-year-olds you know providing customer service? Right? Huh? I mean, if you know of one, let me know, because we got to figure out how to put this on TV and monetize it. How a 3-year-old, we've never asked them to provide really any service, but we try to start teaching them how to do that by maybe chores or maybe little things where they're providing some value to something, right? To the house, learning how to grow. So we understand though that until we teach them that, or as they're growing, it's very limited. We don't understand in our mind that we're just like babies a lot of times, that we think our ability to have customer service in our business is different than us. So we're like, well, you have to have great customer service. Yeah, but you automatically have great customer service because you're the first customer. If you're happy doing what you're doing, how could anybody else get anything but happiness? I told when Kari and I were on the phone earlier this week, and I'll say this one thing. I said, Kari, do you realize we were talking about something? He said, yeah, people ask me all the time, am I a trainer and I'm not this or that? I said, yeah, that's customer service. People can already see you're something. So they're going to get what you are. You don't have to convince them. You don't have to put on no flyer. You didn't do no YouTube, no marketing. You didn't do no 50 Instagram posts. You weren't up on there. You got to be up on the gram all day, all night. If you want people to see you and everything like that, it takes people 2 seconds to see what you look like. It takes people 2 seconds to see what you sound like, to hear what you sound like. It don't take long. But a lot of times the reason we're having to do all this marketing and all this, and there's nothing wrong with marketing. I'm talking about the spirit, not what we're doing, but why are we doing it? Because the reason we're doing it as much as we're doing it is because we're trying to compensate for what we're not. We're trying to present ourselves as something we aren't. When we are that, it took 2 seconds. It takes 2 seconds to realize this person's this, whether the way they look, whether it's the way they sound, whether they're this or that. The reason we have to literally create a whole different department of customer service is because people suck at it. People suck at it because they're miserable themselves. They're at a job they don't like, getting paid what they don't want, being there too long, not doing what they do want or where they do like. So how happy you think they are to be to see you? And they selling some old funky t-shirt and you want to know, do they have another size in the back? No, if you can't fit it, you're too fat, or lift weights, do something. I ain't going to the back. That's what I don't want to be here anyway. Tell your manager, tell them. So what? What are they gonna do? Fire me? I hope they do. I don't want to be here anyway. At least I can say I didn't quit. Right? Most people's customer service, right, sucks because they're in a state of suck. They don't want to be doing what they're doing, be what they are. They feel how they feel. So how do you think they're gonna change it when they see you? Oh man, he can't talk to me like that. What you mean? He's been talking to himself like that for 30 minutes before he saw you. He need to watch where he's going. He's not even thinking about where he's going. He's thinking about his rent is late. He's thinking about everything ain't about you in certain things. They're not always about you, right? And if you're in your right mind, just like a martial artist or a boxer or any type of person with consciousness that's trained, you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna let that go by. You realize that ain't for me. And just because you swinging, it ain't gonna hit me. That don't have nothing to do with me, right? It's not like that. So your conscious mind, right, needs your conscious mind to has a desire. Your subconscious mind says, this is what I know ourselves to be. This is where your habits are, your beliefs are. This is where everything that is physically in your world. Look around at your body, your money, your hair, your eyes, your teeth, your relationships, your house. Look at everything physical in your life. It comes from your subconscious mind. It comes from your conscious mind as an idea to the point where now it stains. It's now permanent. It's in there. So now it turns right back around and produces it in your conscious world, what you would call your 3D, what you would call reality. So when you're doing affirmations, what you're essentially doing is what you're always doing, because you're always saying, I am something. It doesn't have to be verb. You know who you are. You know what you believe yourself to be. You know it. You know when you swipe that debit card, you know whether you're rich or not. You know, you have the feeling. You know when you swipe it and you like, you walk away with the bag like, let me just, right? Or you be like, approved, or they change their mind for something goes unapproved, right? You know when you swipe it, you're like, yeah, it's like that. Yeah, you know, matter of fact, give me some chips too. You always have a conception of yourself. Always. You're always saying, I am something. You always are knowing yourself to be. And some of that is conscious because you're thinking it often. Some of it is subconscious, like I have a brother that played football. He's a quarterback. And I can say, Marcus, you can't throw a 20-yard post. He'll be like, man, are you out of your mind? He wasn't thinking about that 5 seconds ago. But once his belief is challenged, he steps up and be like, yeah, what? What are you talking about? Right? But if somebody asked me to do it, I'd be like, how far is 20 yards exactly? Right? And you got to do, like, I have a different consciousness. I have a different state of awareness in this area. So I don't believe myself to be. He does. But neither one of us were thinking about it before the conversation came up. So my point is, in your subconscious mind, it's like an operating system. It's always operating in the background. Your conscious is like your monitor, but it's coming from here. It's coming from here, right? Right. So I want you to understand that when we talk about affirmations, when I say that, what I'm saying is that necessary? No. Can you manifest? Can you bring something into your life instantly? Yeah. Yes, you can. Can you say, I believe that I'm a master manifester, or I manifest instantly, or I manifest so quickly, like things come into my life so easily and so quickly. It's 2 times 2 is 4. Well, the first time a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old hears that, they don't know what the hell you're even talking about. They're like, 2 what? 2 who? Right? Well, what do you mean, them 2 pretzels? Can I have them too? That's only 2 they know. That's only 2 they thinking about. But when you do it over and over and over and over and over and over, it goes from the top down into the bottom. It goes from your mind to your heart, right? So when you're affirming, it's not because it's necessary, but it's because to bring something into your life. But a lot of times it's necessary for most of us because of where we're starting from. So we're affirming, it means we are now conditioning our consciousness, our awareness to being something new now. And you do it over and over. So you just walk around talking to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud. You can, but you just talk to yourself, not because it's necessary to bring something to your life, but it's necessary for you to believe that it's possible. It's necessary for you to get used to the idea. It's necessary for you to start to see yourself as this person. That's what you're doing. You're not making it true. It is true. It already is true. That's why the idea came. It is true. It is real. You're just not experiencing it because you're not the person who is it. That's not who you are. So you're affirming, you're saying things to yourself. You're reminding yourself of this new person you are. And so now you start to, just like you move, and like I go from house to job, or I move from California to Atlanta, right? But I had to move in mind. But why did I move? I moved because if I go to work, I can't stay home. That's like the old school way, 1940s. Like if I go to work, I can't stay home. If there's something in Atlanta I want, I can't stay in California. I have to move because where I am, this thing doesn't exist. In my mind, I have to move. I have to be willing to say, I was broke, but now I'm rich. I have to move in mind, and that takes effort. Just like packing your bags takes effort. Getting a Ryder truck or getting on a plane or driving your car across the country. It takes effort. Not to make Atlanta real. Atlanta's already real. But to get to Atlanta, from California, you got some packing to do. And because it's so far from California, in our mind, how far are we away from the outcome? When I'm poor and I say I'm rich, how far is that for me? Is it California to Vegas? Well, that's anywhere.
Planet.
Say it again.
A whole different planet sometimes.
So different planets sometimes. So what affirming can help you do is it doesn't make anything true. You don't have to do it in order to get something. That's not what it is. But you have to be in the mindset of the person who does. So what affirming does is help you to condition that mindset and make it believable for you. So that now it becomes comfortable for you. It feels natural. So when you say, I am rich, it feels just as natural as when you used to say, I am broke. I am poor. I can't afford it. I don't know. I'm living check to check. Man, I just hope. Man, just swiping life. Right? All that stuff, right? There is a conditioning process. Just like 2 times 2 is 4, and you give them that multiplication sheet and they say it over and over. It's not to make it true. It's to bring them to the awareness of the truth. That's what it's for. That's all we're doing here, right? So when you're conditioning your subconscious mind and you say it over and over, it's an agreement that you and your inner self have. It doesn't matter what the world says. It doesn't matter what the outside says. It doesn't matter. You see yourself as you are. And that's what the affirmations do. They help you learn how to condition your mind to the point that you start to see yourself as something before you physically see it in your world. right? We have to learn how to wake up and say, instead of just waking up and seeing, well, let's just see how it goes. Why don't you just say how it goes? Let me go to the restaurant and let's just see how it goes. What do you mean? Aren't you the person supposed to order? What do you mean? See what? Wake up and say how your day goes. Don't wake up and see how it goes. By the time you wake up and see how it goes, it didn't went left and you didn't went left with it. So you like a 5-year-old trying to walk a full pit bull. Everybody knows that ain't gonna work. They could be dragging you down the street like you Dennis the Menace, like you're some kind of rag doll. Our mind, if you don't discipline it and control it, it's not against you. It's just been conditioned to believe certain things from since even before you got here. People were talking to you in the womb, reading books to you while you're pregnant. You've been conscious a long time. This is not, you didn't just, when you came out, I'm here. You've been here. You've been here. Ask your mom if you've been here before you were birthed and she was walking around carrying you. Ask her if you were real. I don't think she would debate it. Right? When she says, hey man, get up and get that ice cream. You'd be like, it's 3. Get up and get the ice cream. Right? Ask the dad if he think it's real. Right? Because whatever, even if he don't, he thinks that he knows that request or that demand now is real. And you've been real. This is not, we didn't just start. So we've been doing this a long time. So a lot of things, we have a lot of beliefs that we're not always conscious of. And we don't realize that they're affecting our outcomes, right? We become what we think. We become what we think. Anything on there that you want to say?
We're just having a good laugh because Tammy had said this could be an HBO special. And I tell her we're always cracking up.
Because, I'm sorry.
And then she just, why now we're talking about the cravings and all that. She said mashed potatoes. And I'm laughing because, either we've been pregnant or we know someone who's been or help someone who's been pregnant. So we know how real that is.
Yeah. And it's so great that we're all talking about it this way because I want us to understand. I'm not helping you if we don't understand. We're not helping each other if we don't bring them to things that we understand, right? That's why we talk about these things this way. Right?
Just saying the laughter is really helpful though. I mean, your way about and making people laugh about this is you remember things you laugh about, or at least I do.
Yes.
That's why I say that. It's like, it's, you can't laugh, you can't learn.
Yes.
Yes.
That's so true. The more emotion we put into anything, whether it's positive or negative, the more emotional something is, an experience we have, the more it's impressed in our mind. We remember it, right? That's why, so that's why we remember things that, especially that are either, not cataclysmic, but that are just huge things, big moments, births, deaths, whatever, or winning the lottery, or graduating high school, graduating college, getting that new car. We remember things that emotionally charge us, right? And so laughing is an emotional charge. That's why I say laughter is the best medicine, is a good medicine, because when you smile, right, it actually presses on certain parts of your anatomy that release endorphins and stuff in your presses your glands, and it releases endorphins, the same ones you get artificially through some drugs, or when you exercise, or sometimes when people meditate, it presses on certain glands that release certain hormones and things into your body that make you healthy. That's why it goes up. When you go down, right, it impresses other glands that release toxins, cortisol, and all these other things into your body, right? So
Marcus put in the chat, Tammy, you should have grown up with him. He's a young Richard Pryor. He wanted to set him on fire sometimes. I wanted to set him on fire sometimes.
All right. I was too quick. Too light on my feet. So I slept with one eye open, both eyes open. All right. Right. So I want everyone to understand that it's all here. You are great. You are amazing. Like I said, this ain't no motivational speaking. This ain't no positive thinking. This is not that. This is the truth. That's why I said this one thing, I'm right. I'm absolutely right. I'm absolutely right that you are even greater than I can tell you are. You have more power and ability and wisdom and the know-how within you than I can even express to you. And my whole desire is to bring you out to lead you back to yourself. I want you to know that you can talk to yourself and you can get answers, that you can talk to your body and you can heal it, that you can talk to your money and get more of it. You are the creator of all of these things, right? And so often we give away our power to everyone else, to everything else, to anything else. Who wants some? We just giving it away, right? And we never stop to think why we don't have any left, right? Why things aren't going the way we want. Well, because we don't have any gas left. We don't have any power left. We didn't give it away to this person. The boss told me, no, I can't have this. This happened, I can't have that. This happened, I can't have that. And so now all of our dreams, all of our desires have died with people or died with experiences. And we never thought to go within, to look into the perfect law of liberty, the perfect law of freedom that lives within you, that if you're willing to say, I was this, I feel like this right now, but what do I want to be? What am I willing to consider, to entertain, to meditate on, to swirl around in my mind over and over and say, even though my mind may say I'm crazy, because it is saying we don't have that. It's a scorekeeper. It's not a fortune teller, but it's a scorekeeper. It's telling you, you only have $10 in the bank. So when you say you're a millionaire, you are insane, right? But the reason you have $10 in the bank is because of the mind you have now. That you keep telling yourself, I'm just keeping it real. I don't want to lie. So cool. It's just going to stay right there. But it's not a lie. It's creation. Everything starts in the mind. When somebody says, I'm going to build a plane, you don't call them a liar just because you don't see it. Right?
Yeah. Sarah put in the chat, this is me. Then after the conversation, I'm asking myself, why the heck did I get on the call with her or him?
Right? It's just, and, you know, it gets into, man, there's so many different ways. There's so many different things that go on when you decide to start learning how to think and realizing that you are the creator of your life, that you are the outcome of your dominant thoughts. Not all of them, your dominant thoughts. You are the outcome of your friends, the outcome of your family, not the outcome of the people you cross when you go down the street, that they don't have any say in your life. You pass them. So just the little random thoughts you have, like, oh, this or oh, that, those aren't the ones that affect your life. They're like your family and friends. They're the ones that you entertain. They're the ones that you spend time with. They're the ones that you think about over, that you meditate on over and over. You don't have to, you know, I tell my daughter this all the time. You don't have to be asleep. You don't have to have your eyes closed to be asleep. People in life are asleep. They're entertaining all kind of stuff, meditating on all kind of stuff. They have all kind of insanity going on in their mind, and they want to go out and buy organic. I'm going to Whole Foods, right? And you over here got all kind of poisonous thoughts. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Do you know why people first started saying their blessing over food? Why people started to bless their food? Anybody have any idea? I think I've maybe told Marcus and my mom, so you guys can't say anything. You're sworn to secrecy. Anyone else? Yeah, have a guess on why did people start that? Now somebody say something.
I'm going to guess that people probably started doing that when probably in the times when people started poisoning people to try to, you know, I guess either get possessions or to take over things. So if you could poison somebody.
Cool. Oh, no, I was looking at the time. Okay, cool. All right. I probably didn't write this that big, but there's everything. There's you, and there's everything outside of you. Every single thing outside of you, the first thing outside of you is what? What is the first thing outside of you?
Spirit.
Your physical body.
Yes, spirit, you are. Your physical body. So starting from your physical body out, from your physical body out is a thing. Everything is a thing. And you, starting from your body out, your body is first. You and your body, from body on. So body means all the way down. Food, cars, the air, everything. You and your body, the first thing, you and food, you and anything outside of you, you have a relationship to. That relationship is based on, first, your self-concept. Who am I? Am I always healthy? Am I sick? Am I this? Am I that? That is me. That's my self-concept. That's the foundation. Now, everything else is what you're going to put on it. It's what your relationship is. So food, your body. So food. People started saying their blessing over food because they wanted to bring their food under the dominion of the house, of the rules. When people come into your house, there are rules. Take your shoes off, can't put your feet up here, do this or do that. So when something comes from the outside, that's not you, when it comes into something that is yours, you say, this is how this is going to go. So when you bless your food, you're basically saying, I'm putting this food on the same level as myself. I'm saying to myself that this is the way this food is going to interact with me. This food doesn't just get to, like a person doesn't get to just come in your house and go in your bed and be like, I think I'm gonna take a little nap with their shoes on. They don't get to do that. You wouldn't allow that. Food is the same thing. It's just a thing. It's something coming from outside into your house, into your temple, right? And so you say, these are the rules of the house. So when people say they're blessing, they're saying this, you're telling the food how you want it to interact with you, what your relationship is going to be, how this is going to go. That's what this is. So just like you tell your food that, you tell your body that, it's a thing. They're just things. That's why when you die, so to speak, when you step out of this body, it stays just where this food is, here on earth, so to speak. It stays right there on the ground. It don't go anywhere either. Your car doesn't go anywhere. Your house doesn't go anywhere. When you separate yourself from it, right? Every physical thing stays here in the physical world. Every non-physical thing is able to come out of a physical thing and is able to move on, right, into the non-physical world, so to speak, right? So my point is that that's why people do that. So you have you and a thing, and you in your relationship with these things are based on your self-concept. Who are you? And so a lot of times the reason when we talk about affirmations, a lot of it is the reason we have a problem manifesting, getting what we want, is because we're not the person who has it. Our self-concept isn't that. And so a lot of times our self-concept, right, needs reconditioning, needs remodeling. Self-concept, right? It needs reconditioning, remodeling, a conscious change from what we were to what we presently are to what we want to be. Right? So when you're remodeling a house, you see construction workers come in every day until it's done. Well, it's the same thing. Those construction workers are your thoughts. What you're saying, you are conditioning your house. You're conditioning your experience based on what you're thinking and feeling and believing yourself to be. And a lot of us need to change our self-concept in order to experience the manifestation that we want. Our self-concept is like the foundation of a home. It's what everything is going to sit on. And if that's shaky, it's hard to hold anything. So a lot of times we're trying to manifest a thing that is contrary or in contrast or in conflict with our concept, with who we believe ourselves to be. Oh man, I want to be a doctor. Oh, you can do it. Oh man, I don't really have the best grades, or I've never really had good grades. I'm not really a good student. Well, how are you going to do that? If you're going to be a doctor and go to school, how are you going to do that if that's what you're thinking? If that's what you think about yourself? We're not talking about positive thinking. We're saying that we have the right to choose and change. That's what our brain is made for, is to change. Do you know how many changes we've gone through physically? How do you think that first started? From the brain. Puberty starts from the brain, right? It starts to send out chemicals to grow, to add hair, mustaches, to grow hair. How do you think you sleep at night? It's not your conscious mind, it's your subconscious mind that's running all those factories, right? Your digestion, your dreams, all those different things. You're not conscious doing that, right? So you can always, our brain is made to change, right? And when we are constantly telling ourselves something, we are either creating new neural pathways, new lanes on a street, or we're either just making it more real. We just become more familiar with it, right? And we have to decide which one we want to do. If the street we're taking now is no good, then we need to get off that street and turn onto another one. We can change. That's what neuroplasticity means. Neural brain plasticity. It's malleable, it's flexible. You can change the way you think about yourself. But if you're waiting for a drug to do it, or if you need a drug to keep it, what happens when they run out? What happens when it was $1 a pill and now it's 12? What happens if they decide they're going to discontinue it because they don't really? What happens? There's nothing wrong with medicine, but medicine is like a ladder. It's to get you to the highest form of health. It's not to maintain it. Otherwise, you don't have it. There's nothing wrong with medicine. There's nothing wrong with taking enjoy. Be glad you have it. Sometimes we need it. I'm glad I have a ladder, but I ain't looking for it every day. What am I doing up here? I need to put something up here and just be here or something, right? So there's nothing wrong with using things to get back to our right mind, to our highest level of thinking. Nothing wrong with that. But don't confuse that with the way to go. No, that's the way to get back to where you should be. Right? We're using things to help us. Sometimes we need surgery to help us, to get us back. Right? We need medicine to get us back. But what? Back to health, back to track, back on track, back to what's right and true, which is health, which is your success, which is your prosperity, your abundance, more than enough. There isn't just enough sand. There isn't just, I mean, the ocean's been out here for a long time. Just imagine how many people have been in and out of it and put buckets and do everything, all kind of stuff. And now you came, you're like, damn, these people don't use up all of it. He's selfish. I mean, man, what if there's no beach left? What if there's no more sand left? What if there's no more stars in the sky to look at? What if there are no more trees growing? Because everybody already used them and took them up. This world is regenerating constantly. And you're the creator of it and a part of it. What's wrong with you? Why you gotta fall out and be looking all crazy? The beach, the water, the sand, the sky is older than you, and it don't look crazy. It don't got high blood pressure and diabetes. It ain't all messed up. But that's because it doesn't ever think different than what it is. We as humans are the highest form of creation. We have the ability to choose anything. The sun does not. The stars do not. The beach does not. The sand does not. Trees do not. Cats do not. Dogs do not. Dinosaurs did not. We are the only ones who can choose our mind and change our mind. To be a doctor one day, a nurse one day, a contractor, a construction worker, a daycare provider. We can be. Look at all the people on the call. Look at all the people in the world. Look how many different things we can be. Right? But when we lose our mind, we lose everything that goes with it. Are you out of your mind? Yeah, most of us. Actually, yeah. But so many of us are, it looks sane. So it looks sane, but it's insane. How can nature be different than what's natural? And how do we know what's natural? Like I said, you cut your finger. Doesn't it try to heal itself? Does it feel natural to not feel well? That's why it doesn't feel well. Because you're like, man, something is off. I'm sick. Yeah, you are detached from health. You are diseased. And that always starts in the mind. Always. Disease always starts with disease. Period. Just like math, order of operations. You don't have to like it. You can argue it and everything else, but you'll never get the right answer. You'll never end up in the right place. There's order to things. They're not only things, but there's order. You don't get to pick which one it is. Oh, I'm sick because of something. No. You're sick because your mind has the belief that it's possible, number one. And then number two, what makes it possible? It's wintertime. If I go with my hair wet, oh, it rained on me. Whatever. I mean, people got all kind of stuff. It's flu season. You know this is hereditary, don't you? Yeah, oh yeah, people will hit you with the hereditary thing like it is a get out of jail free card. They'll be like, yeah, I just here you go, here's my voucher. This is my permission card, my permission slip. Yeah, it's my permission slip to have diabetes for the rest of my life because my mama had it, my daddy had it, my granddaddy had it, my great-great-granddaddy had it. And they go down the whole list and be like, so do you want it? No. Well, why are you over here joining the club? What kind of membership are you signing up for? Why don't you sign up for a health club membership? Why don't you sign up for a health club membership? Why don't you sign up for a membership in your mind where you say, I am healthy. Everything I put in or on my body works for me. Everything. And when you are healthy and everything you put in or on your body works for you, that means literally everything. And that means what you do and what you don't. It will attract both. If you have a liquor store and you have a customer, then two people walk in, they're both customers. If one buys a bag of chips, you happy. If one steals a bag of chips, you mad. But they're both customers, so to speak, right? They're both people that could potentially be a patron to your business. One did, one took. One gave, one took. So what you want to do is say, I always have a marvelous, successful business. I'm always prospering, always winning. So what that will do is bring the person that buys and prevent the person that won't. It will do both for you. You don't have a business if one person's buying and one person's stealing. But when the two people walk in, who's buying and who's stealing? How do you know? How do you really know? When somebody's on a car lot to buy, how do you really know who's going to buy? Really? You could think, you try to look, but you don't know. but your consciousness knows. So when you decide I'm healthy or I have a successful business, then it's going to prevent all the people that would not physically reflect that. But that comes from you. Go ahead.
Geraldo put in the chat, my daddy wasn't and you know that is hereditary, so ain't nothing I can do about that.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's
You're on your own.
right. It's one of those things where it's like, we can't say we're the creator of our life. We can't say I'm grown, but yet I can't do nothing about that. Oh, well, as adults, we tell you, man, I'm grown. Right. The women be like, I'm grown. I'm too grown. I'm grown. Right. Dudes would be like, man, you can't really talk to me like that. I'm a grown man. You can't really. But I just said, you know, you can fix your house if you change your mind. I can't really do all that. I mean, what you talking about? I mean, don't you see? I mean, my dad, let me tell you about this. And in my back, it's like, all right, I thought you were grown. Where the grown man? You went from grown to like, you know, like a 3-year-old quick. Right? It's like, no. So when we talked about doctor earlier, or we talk about, if you look at a lot of the terms that we use in the actual denotative, the actual etymological definition, the true original definition, you'll start to see that so many words in society that have to do with health or healing or living well, thinking properly, whatever, they're all mental words. They're all words that deal with your mentality, your psychology, your identity, what you identify as, your consciousness, your awareness, who you know, believe, think, and feel yourself to be. These words deal with that. They're all talking about that first. Now, connotatively, they will morph into other things that people just start using them, calling the doctor this, calling it. No, but the original word for doctor, wasn't it much different than people thought? We think it's just, it wasn't that until over centuries later, really. The original definition was all mental. And it talked to you about what this person is or what they do for the people that they are helping, so to speak. Right? Your greatest help, your first help is the one you came with, you and inside of you. And the first thing we do when we got a problem is do what? Look out. We go out. Then we wonder why we can't ever find anything. Whether it's peace, money, health, stability, sanity, joy, because everything is external. Everything needs somebody else needs to bring it, give it. We got to wait until we see him. I'm gonna wait till I get paid. I'm gonna wait till the doctor come. I'm gonna wait till the pastor lay hands on me. How many people wait for the Pope to come and be lined up like it's Black Friday, trying to kiss his hand? He in a big Cadillac, and you sitting there. Dudes won't even kiss their lady's hand, and they kissing the Pope hand. Come on, man. Ladies, you should be happy with that one. You should be happy with that. You'd be like, this dude don't even want to get, he asked me to marry him standing up, and he on his knees kissing the Pope hand. What kind of capital? What kind of, you should be looking like, no, you didn't. No, you did not. Right? Go and get to work on time, but out there early for the Rose Parade. Pope coming down the street. He don't even see you. He's 95 years old. He don't even know you there. He don't even know you there at all. Just stop it. Let it go. Stop it. Right? It's like, what are we doing here? Like, come on, man. I try to make it funny as I can and loud because it's true. I want us to wake up. That's my job, is to wake us up. Wake up. You are great. Kiss your own hand. You worship him. You love the Pope. He don't even know your name. But I asked my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, I said, you know, she's, you know, not into boys and stuff like that yet and all the other stuff, right? So I said, Zoe, I said, how many times this week have you told yourself, I love you? You just looked at him and said, hey, man, I love you. I appreciate you. He was like, she looked at me like, I'm like, are you offended or are you just thinking? Which one is it? Because you look kind of crazy. And she was like, Dad, that's like kind of weird. I said, oh, okay, cool. I said, okay. I said, well, when you get later in life, if you decide to have a relationship and things like that, let's just play this game. And your boyfriend or let's say you decide to get married said, and you said to him like, hey man, like you don't never say, you know, you love me and everything. And he was like, dude, that's like weird. What would you say? And she kind of looked like, I was like, yeah, got you. I I was like, if somebody else don't tell you you are upset, mad, you don't love me, you ain't told me, you don't ever do nothing for me. Well, when's the last time we told ourselves and when's the last time we looked in the mirror and said, man, hey, I love you, I appreciate you. How many of us do that on a regular basis? But we want somebody else to do it on a regular basis. If you like it, you should have put a ring on it, and you're doing all this and everything else, but you won't even do anything for yourself.
Tammy put in the chat that that's actually her favorite girl's name, Zoe. And then Gerardo put in the chat, willing to do anything for the Pope's blessing, but give yourself a hard time about following through.
Yeah. You want the Pope's blessing while you curse yourself. Now, does anybody see how insane this has actually become? Like literally, we have lost our mind. And in order to change our life, we have to first regain our mind. We are trying to work correctly with an incorrect mind. We are killing our behind because we've lost our mind. We will literally abuse our body because we won't discipline our mind. We will work 40 jobs, work all night. We will do everything, and it doesn't have to be that way. The leaves don't struggle to grow. The ocean don't struggle to move. The sand keeps, no matter how much people keep laying in it and taking it somewhere and going home with half of it on your leg, it still keeps seeming to be there. I don't know how they don't ever run out of sand. Right? Like it still keeps seeming to be there. The stars keep coming out at night and the moon keeps coming up, even though, you can't even wake up every day to go to work and the moon's been doing it for years. What is your problem? Right? Because we have literally lost our nature, our natural thought, our natural ability to think. We've lost that, and we have to get it back. And I'm telling you that within you, you have the ability to do that. By sitting down and saying to myself, what do I want to be? What do I want? Not what can I get? Not what time. Well, what time is it? How much time I got left? Well, because I'm 55 and I'm about to get my discount at Denny's. And so get this senior discount, that AARP, they give you a discount, don't you? Yeah, I've got 2 more weeks, girl. All my benefits about to kick in. Everybody's waiting for something, but we waiting around like we got extra men. Like this is a game, you can just be like, you know what? I'm gonna scratch this one. I'm gonna do this one over. Tomorrow I'm gonna be 5, so don't even worry about it. I'm about to go to In-N-Out and eat this ice cream. I'm about to go, because tomorrow I'm gonna be 5 and start all over. Has anybody, when they say, oh, it's never too late, yes, it is. Has anybody go back to high school and talk about let me in? You'll get arrested. You'll be called all kind of names. People be laughing at you. You'll be on the front page of the paper, if they still have that, the news. You'll be on the internet for sure. You'll be insane. Yeah, stop letting life pass you by like you got, a whole lot more tomorrows than you've already used. Come on, man. Like this is why we're here. We're here to talk about the real stuff and actually live, right? You have greatness in you. You are great. But you have to go inside and tap that. You have to be willing to assume you are something even though you haven't seen it. But you haven't seen it because you ain't tapped it. Then you have all these other ideas, everybody else's ideas of what you can be and what you can do and what you can have. And we grew up that way. So we're living everybody else's ideas in our life. We have a life we're responsible for with no saying. This is a remote control car. We're being controlled by everything and everyone, right? And it's enough. That's enough. We're bigger than that. We're more than that. We're far more than that, right? So you sit down and get quiet with yourself and say, what do I really want to be? What do I really want to be? Really, what do I want to be? What would make my heart sing if I could just do it? Forget all that for a second. Just sit down and say, what do I really want to do? Not what my wife say, my father say, my brother say, my husband say. It doesn't matter what anyone has said. What do I want to be? I didn't know all these people when I came in here anyway. Hell, who are they? I don't got to listen to these people no more. I came in here on my own. I didn't know none of you. I'm about to do what I want to do. What is that? And to go inside yourself and say, hey, I'm going to write down, what do I really want to be? And write down and say, okay, are you willing? I'm willing to come into an agreement with you that if I believe this, you'll do it. Is that so? Talk to yourself. You talk to yourself all the time when you complaining. You talk to yourself when you say, I'm broke, I'm fat, I'm late, I'm depressed, I'm sad. You talk to yourself then. Don't nobody call them affirmations, but they are. Don't nobody call that affirmation. They call that just, I'm just keeping it real. I'm just telling it how it is. Yeah, you telling it how it is. You keeping it real. You keeping it just like it is. Congratulations. I got cancer. Oh yeah. Hey, congratulations, man. You did that. You did that. I mean, we're out here in the Bay Area. So Steph Curry shooting threes from the parking lot, and when he make it, we clap. Because he did what he wanted to do. He made it. You got diabetes? Right on. Yeah, we got the, but yeah. And when Steph Curry and the Warriors are doing it, they have a huge chant, and the whole crowd in the arena goes, Warriors. I mean, it's kind of epic. It's kind of epic. And I'm from LA, so I don't really like these fools up here that much anyway. But like, go to some of the games, like their fans are kind of epic. On a Tuesday night, they be getting it, right? So I'm saying all that to say they're cheering people who are doing something. Well, when you decide to get yourself sick and messed up and all upset, and now you got high blood pressure, and now your leg don't work, and now your back always hurting, congratulations. You done made it. Bravo. If you don't like it, change it. Sit down and say, I want my body to work right. This is not right. Don't let people make you think it's right to just sit there and suffer and find a way to just get through it. That ain't it. We don't go to a nightclub just to get through it. We don't go to the amusement park just to get through it. We don't date this person we're really looking forward to on this date just to get through it. We don't, right? We don't win a lottery just to get through it, right? Well, this life is the best lottery you're going to get. It's the best date you got. You the best spouse you're going to get. And if you can't figure that out, there's one kid I was working with, and I was like, dude, I walked into his house. I was like, dude, it's like 10 o'clock. What are you doing? He was like, oh, I'm wearing this. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, not with me. We ain't going nowhere looking like that. And he was like, well, who am I trying to impress? I was like, that's why you're failing. That's why I'm here. If you don't know, or until you know who you're trying to impress is you, if you don't realize you are the first guest of honor, if you don't realize that you looking in the mirror and your hair looking like that, and your face looking like that, and your clothes looking like that, if you are not embarrassed to present yourself to the world that way, if you don't love yourself enough to say, I'm better than this, that's why I'm here, and that's why you're a fool. And that's why we have a couple hours to get together today, because we obviously got to work on your mind. Right? How many people you know put on a three-piece suit to do a drive-by shooting? How many people you know? Nobody does that. Nobody does it.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
No, nobody does it. When you put yourself together, I don't care if it's only for 3 hours. You believe you somebody for them 3 hours. When you do all that makeup and all that hair and everything like that, when dudes are like, you know what, I don't wear no suit, but I got to do it today, right? And when you put yourself together and you step out in the world and you like that, right? Just all the things you won't do. There's just things you won't do when you're dressing yourself that way. When you clothe yourself in certain emotions of success and of health, and I'm beautiful and I'm handsome and I am powerful and I'm successful and I'm all these things, and you say to yourself over and over, it's like you're dressing yourself. You're dressing yourself and you go out in the world. That's customer service. When they see you, what you think they're going to get? When they talk to you, what you think they're going to hear? You ain't got to do nothing. That's customer service. So when you got your own business and they walk in and they're like, God, you're so cheery all the time. Yeah, because I'm winning. This is my business. I created it. I decided it was successful. I decided it was going to be like this. And you're just a physical reflection of that I've already put in my mind. I'm winning. Who's winning and crying at the same time? They're only tears of joy. They ain't tears of pain, right? Life is going to be up no matter what you do with it. You're going to win or lose. So you might as well win. You're going to be tired at the end. You might as well get something to show for it. You might as well live this thing like you got it, like it's yours. It is yours. Stop giving it away to everybody. Something and everybody has something to say better than you. Something different better than you. Something who knows you more than you. They don't, but they do because you don't know you. But you don't spend no time with yourself. You wake up on your phone, come home. As soon as you get in the car, you turn the radio on. Soon as you get back in the car, you turn the radio on. Soon as you get home, you turn the TV on. Soon as before you go to bed, you got the phone in the hand. Then when you wake up, you got your phone in your hand. Then you get in the car and turn the radio on. Then you got the TV on in the morning because you want to listen to the news. What? People shooting each other, stabbing each other, potholes in the street. You got to take 12 detours. It's going to rain. It's going to flood. And then everything else. And then you wonder why you're scared all the time, sick all the time, nervous all the time, upset all the time. You wonder why. Because everyone's talking to you but you. And nobody can care about you because they don't care about themselves. People have a hard enough time figuring their own life out. And you wonder why. I can't. But there was a guy I was talking to and he's starting a business. And so he was asking his boy for a favor. He's like, hey, man, I'm just starting. Is there anything I can do? Can you help me out? His boy is kind of like a medium level musician. He's been on a couple different things, whatever, right? So he's like, yeah, I'm trying to put this venture together and I want to have a little music. He was like, do you think you can, just help me out? He's like, maybe we can barter something because I'm just getting the business off the ground. I don't have a lot of money beside what I need to start it up. His boy, he wanted him to play a couple hours in his backyard for a couple hours and just to have a little music while he was doing his thing. His boy said, okay, 15,000. No, he said 15. So when the guy told me, I was like, American dollars? 15,000 American? He said, yeah. Then the guy was like, and so he was like, yeah, man. He's like 15,000. He's like, so then the guy's wife was like, the guy who said 15,000, his wife was like, well, what else can we get for it? He was like, well, I have this list and, I have like 1,000 people on it. And so, if you guys are, doing some of your musical stuff, I can let you use this list so that you can get people to come to your music thing, right? Then the guy said, well, who's the owner of the list? He was like, and so then his wife was like, we own the list. We got the list right now before we even start. What are you talking about? We have the list right now. What do you mean, who's the owner? Right? And so it's like, my point is, it's like, stop giving your dream away to everybody. Stop thinking everybody needs to be included or you know who that is. You don't always. You're assuming you do. You're trying to gangster people into doing it, right? And so I told them, I said, it's good. They're not bad people. They're just not the right people. And thank God you know now, because how you get them is how you got to keep them. So if you want to bully them and kidnap them into doing your thing, then you're going to have to motivate them while they're there. You have to ask them, are they hot? Are they thirsty? Do you want me to rub your back while you're playing the music? Then you wonder why they came late and want to leave early. You're not going to be any happier then than you are now. So just be glad that you don't have to really be unhappy because you knew from the beginning, right? Stop thinking you know everything about everything consciously. You know what you want. You know the outcome you want. Focus on the outcome and make an agreement with your higher self and say, this is what I want to experience. This is what I want to do or be or have. I am now willing to come into an agreement with you and remain loyal and faithful to you. I don't care what they say, what it says, what my bank account says, what the news says, what the weather says. I don't care. I'm not talking to them. That's not their business. This is grown folks' business. The little kids, I used to walk in my mom used to look like, this better be an emergency, blood, something better be happening because you walk in here and there's grown people talking and we ain't talking to you, right? So it's like, well, no, I just want to know, can we have some chips? Oh yeah, go on ahead. And it was cool, right? So, but before we walked into grown man's business or grown women's business or adults' business, I had thought about it. I didn't go in there and be like, hey, what you guys talking about? Right? No, it didn't work like that. Think about it for you. How many people are comfortable getting in your business? How many people don't mind telling you, you ain't gonna make it, you too this, you too that, you too old, you ain't never done it, you ain't never going, and they have no problem picking up they'll call you and offer it to you. You don't even have to ask them. Right? They don't even care what you think about what they said or about them. They don't care about them because they're so comfortable being in your business. But why? Because you didn't open it up for everybody. If you open up the doors of Target, I'm coming in. Hello, I'm in. Where the chips at? I want to know where's that. You open the door, I'm coming in, right? You have to be mindful and aware of what it is you want. Make the agreement with yourself. And the way you stay faithful to that agreement a lot of times is you're affirming. Just, hey, man, thank you. I know I got it. I know I am what I am. I am what I am. I am rich. I am wealthy. I am this. And you say it over and over yourself while you're driving. Cut the damn radio off. You ain't listening to nobody. They ain't even talking about nothing. They ain't talking. It's the same song. You like it because you heard it 50 times. It ain't helped you now. So it ain't helped you yet. So then turn it off. Talk to yourself. Stop letting everybody else talk to you and then wonder why you don't have what you want. You don't even know what you want. Nobody talking to you that's saying what you want, and you ain't doing it. Right? So we have to realize that we are our most important voice. We are the most important person in our lives. We are. Your wife ain't, your husband ain't, your kid ain't. Breaking news, it ain't. You can't give them what you don't have. You're only giving them what you have. So your self-concept, what you have, what you believe, what you think, that's what you're giving them. So while you're trying to be Mother Teresa and feeling like, you know, Jack the Ripper, it ain't gonna work. It ain't happening. You are the most important person in your life. Every day, go to bed with that knowledge and love yourself. If you want somebody else to tell it, tell you first. If you want somebody else to think it, you think it first. If you want somebody else to believe it, you believe it first. Stop talking to everybody else, trying to make them. You either can control you or you can try to control them. You try to control them, how's that work for you? Is anybody on here feeling like they're walking on water or turning water into wine? I know I've tried a couple times. I ain't done it yet, but I'm mixing. I'm stepping on it at least. I didn't start it with a puddle. I'm trying to do something, but that starts with myself. I have to learn how to talk to myself. I have to learn how to believe in myself. And that takes time because we've been trained contrary. You're not crazy. You're not stupid. You're not wrong. We've just been miseducated, misled, misinformed, right? So we believe that everything good about our life or possible has to come from someone else or through someone else. I'm going to say one more thing because I know we got a couple minutes. Last thing I want you to understand is there's a difference between from and through. Your desire, your idea, and your outcome. Let me write it up here. So above from, there's desire, outcome, the idea comes from here. Your desire, your outcome, the idea comes from you. It comes from you. It may come through other people. For example, when you turn on, Tammy, when you turn on the water faucet in your house, when you turn on the faucet, kitchen, bathroom, doesn't matter. Where does that water come from?
I love this. I don't know if you do listen to Esther Hicks, because I love this. It's my
Okay.
I got chills. I literally
Okay.
have chills because I've never heard anybody explain it. Like I know where you're going with this. I literally every single hair is standing up on me because I just like I know where this is going. It's so for me, yes, you turn the water on, where it come from? It comes from the faucet, you know, but
Does it?
come.
It does not
No,
come
I
from the
know.
faucet. Tammy,
I
the
know.
water does not come from the faucet. If you take the faucet off and then you turn the knob, does water come out?
I know.
Okay.
I love this. This
Right.
is
So
one of my favorite lessons.
who else is on here?
I love this.
Was it John?
The water comes from the reserve, the city reserve. Well, at least where I live at.
So it comes from the beginning, the start of something. So the start of something, whose desire is it? Whose outcome is it? Whose idea is it? The from, everyone, in my best English, is you. Oh, you. It comes from you. You. It comes from you. Now, where it comes through is where you, the part of you that influences, decides what's the best means to get this thing. Is it, should I go to Tammy to get it? Should I go to John to get it? Should I go to Marcus to get it? Should I go to Mona to get it? What's the best way to get this through? So in your house, you have a kitchen sink, you have a bathroom sink, you have all those are different faucets. They're all coming through from different places, but they're all coming from one source. That source is you. So your desire is coming from you and the ability to achieve it comes from you. But the through, it may come through someone else. That nurse is like, oh yeah, my sister's going through the conduit. The faucet is the conduit. The faucet doesn't make the water. It doesn't come from the faucet. It comes through the faucet. You cannot take the faucet off and turn the knob and some water come out. The faucet ain't making no water in my best English, right? It is on the water, the end, the source goes through the faucet to you. You are the source, the original, the spirit, the original, what people call God and anything you want, to the physical you, right? Mona, Marcus, John, Joe, all of us, right? Carl, all of us, right? So it's coming from you, spirit, to your physical, through whatever is the best means possible, based on who your self-concept. What's the best way to do that, right? A 2-year-old is only using one faucet probably. A 6 or 7-year-old may be using 2 because they may use the bathroom and the sink. As we get older and we mature, we have access to water from different places. So as we mature in our mind, all the avenues, the throughs expand. But we're still always the one turning it on and always the one feeling the water. We're the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, right? We are the author and the finisher of our faith. When we understand that, then we're not looking around. You're not sitting around the house by yourself talking about, turn the water on. Who in the hell are you talking to? You're the one that wants the water. Who are you? Right? And we're waiting around for God to bring somebody to knock on the door, and then we got to open it, and then they can turn the water on. We can just turn the water on ourselves. You can just pray yourself to yourself. Sit down. What do I want? You're turning the water on now from the source. You're going to the source and you're turning the tap. And now you're putting your hand out for the source to do that. You've already, as a source, turned it on, coming through the pipes now. And you, the source who turned it on, is the same one whose hand is out waiting for the water to hit it. You're the same person. When you understand that, you'll treat yourself with some respect, with some love. You'll cherish yourself. You will worship yourself instead of everybody, and instead of Beyonce and Yeezy and Yeezus and everybody else. Right? You'll realize you're the queen bee, you're the kingpin, you are the master of your fate, the captain of your ship. You are it. You are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, the author and finisher of your faith, of your expectation, of what you believe to be true. So choose wisely. All right. We're getting ready to wrap it up. We want to get out on time. Does anybody have any questions really quick? Anything they want to say? Anything in the chat or anything else before? I'm tired now. I've slapped enough of everybody to, everybody can go on now about their day. And,
This was amazing. I just want to tell you, this was amazing. Very inspirational. I love that it's like I can hear some of your resources that you take forward and bring new imagery to. It's just amazing. I just think it was amazing. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Our pleasure. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Mom said.
Hey, Coach Lucky. Oh, I'm
Yes, sir.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gerardo, yes, sir.
Hey, man, I just want to thank you, man. Ever since I started to come on your virtuals, man, I'm really feeling the difference between myself. I enrolled in college yesterday. Going back to
yes,
school.
sir.
And man, that motivation between you and Marcus, man, your virtuals and Marcus in my ear, like I'm sure he does for everybody else, man, it's really, propelling me forward, man. I'm just grateful.
Oh, man, it's our pleasure. That's what we're here for, man. It's our pleasure. I'm so happy to hear that like I said, this is all for everybody to turn around and use it for themselves, to believe in themselves. I ain't no pastor, I ain't no preacher. I don't want anybody to believe in me. I want everybody to follow the information. And so when you're following it and you're taking it and applying it for yourself, that is what makes me happier than I could ever tell you when you come back and share the good news. And so, man, keep doing it, man. And when you're rich, you owe me a lot of money. Awesome. Is there anybody, I want to say this, I want to make sure, does anybody have anything else to say? Hold on one second. If you do, please do before you go. But we're going to start opening it up a little bit earlier, about 6:45, just so that I want people to come. I want people to come early. I want people to come excited. Come with some questions if you have things that you want to ask beforehand. Just like you go to Black Friday early, you go out to Target in the parking lot, wait till they open. I want everybody to come early and come excited, ready to learn and ready to receive and grow and apply for themselves, right? So we're going to start opening up about 6:45, just, to chat, laugh, whatever else. And then we get started right at 7 or whatever else it may be. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. Okay, is anybody else wanted to ask or say before we get up out of here?
Thank you.
Oh, our pleasure. My pleasure. All right, hey, you have a great week. Apply it, sit down. Remember, you are it. You're the operant power. You are the collection of things that you think constantly. So choose your thoughts and choose the ones you think and constantly repeat them to yourself. And you'll see, just like Gerardo's talking about, like Tammy talking about, like all of us, when you apply it, be a doer of the word, not a hearer only, right? Do it. That's the only way you'll know if it works. Test it, prove it, and you'll see. Hey, have a great week and see
Thank
you
you.
next week. Thanks. Peace.
Bye.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Have a great week.